Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here, and with me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up?
And we have Tony Giordano. Giordano. You said I'm close.
Yeah.
You say it.
Giordano, yeah.
Okay, I love it. Awesome.
That's close.
Yeah, well, awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad to have you on because you put in the work. You're insanely fit, and, I really want to hear more about your story. You are a garage gym athlete now, but with some of the numbers I've seen you post and things you've been doing, like I know you've been training for a long time. So I can't wait to dig into it, man. So if you could start us off with just a little bit of background, who you are, what you do for a living, and how you train.
Okay. My name's Tony G. Go with that. 42. Father and husband of 3. 19, 15, and 11.
Nice.
And I started off the high school just a runner, cross country, track, distance. So from there, just did some marathons in my 20s, and then realized that I was super weak. Could not even do one pull-up, maybe 7 push-ups if I tried, but I could run really fast and far. So that's when I decided I needed to start strength training. Awesome. And that's when I just did stuff in my garage. My kids were young, needed to just stay in like one spot, not go to the gym. That's how it all started.
So that's that massive aerobic base is what's giving you a lot of your leg up on most people today. Like I said, I've seen some of your posts from Murph times to really just a lot of the workouts you post, and I'm always super impressed with your time. So what is your garage gym setup and equipment situation?
Right now I just have a rack, just a basic squat rack, nothing fancy, some bumper plates, and mixture of some dumbbells, pull-up bar. And I just got a rower in October for my birthday, which was awesome.
Yeah, dude, that is awesome. What's your favorite row workout?
Man, I don't really have one yet. I'm just getting started. I'm kind of slow in that. I feel like I just can't get the power. I mean, being 5'7", I feel like you can get more pull, but I don't know. Just getting started with that.
Yeah, those guys, anyone over 6 feet definitely has a huge advantage on that machine, but they're fun for everybody nonetheless. So you kind of mentioned it, going from endurance athlete to wanting to gain some strength. So you started working out in your garage, but was there more of a reason? Like, why you decided to, other than wanting to get stronger, why did you start working out in your garage as opposed to Globo Gym or, anywhere else you could have gone?
2 reasons, I guess. One was money. Just joining a gym just wasn't feasible at that time. And also just I was a stay-at-home dad. So I was there with the kids all day, and when they went to nap, that's when I did a workout, squeezed it in.
That's awesome, man. And how long have you been a garage gym athlete?
Oh, man, that was like 10 years ago.
Awesome.
That I started.
Got a true veteran here of the garage gym athlete ways, man. That's really cool. So what are some of the biggest accomplishments you've seen with over a decade of training in your garage, and some of the results?
I can think of, I don't know. I mean, just steady increases over time. I've never really looked at it, but I mean, when I started, I weighed maybe 117, 5'7", 117. And right now I'm like 5'7", 155,
Oh, wow.
160.
Nice.
And I'm just as lean as I was when I was running, 100 plus miles a week.
That's incredible, man. And how has consistency played into that? Because, I mean, that's a steady, whether we're looking at it over a decade or not, I mean, that's some really awesome increases. So what would you have to say about your consistency over that time period?
It's just, taking it one day at a time. If I have a workout scheduled, I'll do it. I'll squeeze it in somewhere. If it has to be late, if it has to be morning, if I have to rearrange the schedule, I'll do that. Just if it's scheduled, I'm going to do it. Just find the time. Even if I have to shorten it or just do a piece of it, it all adds up.
Yeah, dude. And that's an amazing outlook, is that it all adds up. Even if you can only get 15 minutes in today or whatever. I'm curious, what are your this is kind of a different question, but you have such a long history, not only in the garage gym, but just in fitness in general, from being an endurance athlete to more of a hybrid athlete. What would you say your favorite type of workout would be? And that can be pretty broad, but with that endurance background, but also that, there's lifting and Murph style workouts. What would you say your favorite type of weight workout is right now?
I mean, my favorite style has to be something that includes running, body weight stuff, pull-ups. So basically, kind of like Murph. I kind of like that workout, and lately it's been my favorite.
Kind of like the reason why you started strength training.
Huh?
It's like kind of like the reason why you started strength training. You mentioned you couldn't do a pull-up and barely do push-ups, but now it's kind of you excel at.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have this like window air conditioner unit that I had to take out of the attic every year, and this thing was a beast, and I could not move it. And then like 2 years later, I'm moving it, and it's like no big deal. I'm like, wait, what? So it really is functional.
That's awesome, dude. And
So.
I completely glossed over that fact, so let me get onto that. Where are you located? And I want to know a little bit more about the weather.
I'm in Castle Rock, Colorado. So I live about 6,600 feet.
Nice.
And the weather is just crazy. It changes every 15 minutes. It could be, 80 degrees. Next thing you know, it's like 45.
Yeah, and then we have that awesome picture of you doing the snow Murph. Tell me a little bit more about that story.
Well, for that cycle, we had been doing that Murph practice, and Murph was coming up, and I was like, I'm not missing it. I don't know, whatever happens, and it just happened to snow like that hour. And I was like, all right, well, it's happening. This is going down. So I figured, well, I'll be out there running for what, 7.5 minutes each time, and then I'll be in the garage, so it won't be no big deal. But yeah, it happened.
That's
doing
awesome.
those push-ups, and I had gloves on. It was freezing. I had the door open. It was like 17 degrees or something like that.
Wow, dude. And I just love that mental approach for a lot of reasons. Like just the other day, similar, there was some running in the program, and it's been raining a lot here. And I was like, I'm running today. Like I don't care. Like I don't want to do row or air dyne. I want to run. And it would keep like heavy rain and then stop, and then heavy rain and stop, and then it just so happens it's time to run and it's raining. So I'm like, well, I'm running in the rain. Because if you think about it, like you said, there are a lot worse situations you could be in rain. Like I'm talking like days and days of having to be out in the rain. But if you're just talking about 7 to 10 minutes worth of rain or cold or whatever, like it's just enough of a mental push, but not like anything you can't do or can't handle. So I think that's awesome, man.
All right, and then when it comes around and you do it next time and it's nice, you're gonna be like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is
It'll be
easy.
easier.
That's what happened every time in Texas. That I just would struggle through the summer months. It was just like all of my times are so much slower because the heat is ridiculous. It just zaps me. And then come, fall, moving into the winter, which there's not really a winter there. It's just PR central, just like hitting PR after PR after PR, because I was doing all that training like with this extreme temperature, and then like you just hit all these PRs. Once it actually, like you said, gets easier, you're like, wow, it's not near as hard when I'm in good conditions. So we kind of talked about it, but what were you doing before you were a garage gym athlete? Were you just running around neighborhood track training? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was running around, my neighborhood and stuff. I was training for a couple marathons. My fastest was a 240.
Wow.
And
no joke.
Yeah,
marathon runner.
I was in second place the whole race, and I got passed, and seriously, like the last 100 yards. I mean, and then I wound up fourth, and it was just, I was like, I had nothing left. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I was mainly running around town, and then I also had a treadmill. So if like my kids were like watching TV, I'd be right there on the treadmill doing my training. So I was doing like 2 a days.
That's awesome, dude. That's an incredible time. Sub 3 hour marathon. That's insane. And
my first one I did was 254, and like my wife had dared me to do it with like 6 months of training. I was like, all right, I'll do it. No big deal. And then when I was done, I was like, what did you make me do? Like, I was just like, she's like, it was your idea. I'm like, no, it was not. I qualified for Boston because I always wanted to be to Boston, but never got to go. But I did qualify.
That's awesome. And, did you ever get into any other endurance sports? Triathlon, bike, cycling, anything like that?
I never did like triathlons and stuff. I just don't like sitting on a bike that long. I don't know.
Yeah.
And swimming, it's like I cannot. I mean, I can swim, but I just can't. When you swim laps, it's like I don't have any technique, and I'm just like spent after like one trip. Yep. I don't even know how they do like some of that. It's got to be technique or something, but I'm just like spent.
Yeah, I was a lifeguard for a couple of summers, and the only other people who were lifeguards with me were people from like swim teams and like really heavy swim backgrounds. We'd hop in the pool, like anything on the ground or like in the weight room, like I could hold my own. We hop in the pool, and these guys are just like swimming circles around me, if you will. Like they finish like 3 laps. I'm like struggling through my first one. There's so much technique involved, and it almost doesn't matter what kind of endurance base you might already have. Like it might help a little bit, but if you don't have the breathing technique down primarily, you're just running out of oxygen. You're gonna die in the pool. And I know I always do. I never quite figured that one out all the way. Awesome. All right, man. So how do you like training in your garage? You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, just to be able to go out there whenever, just I'm right there. If something goes down in the house, I'm right there. It's just really convenient. I've gone to the gym like a couple times, and it's just always like a hassle. I'm always like, oh, there's always something going on, or someone's got the machine or the squat rack or whatever. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah,
I'd rather be at home.
It's not like, it's not very conducive to it, especially if you follow an actual program. Like most people go into the gym and they don't have any real direction. They're just like, squat rack taken, I'll just do something else. But it's a little bit harder when you're trying to actually achieve something. Now, I want to ask you a more specific question because you have been, you're, like I said, a long-time garage gym athlete, just working out in your garage for so many years. What would you say, and not necessarily the best advice question that we'll get to at the end, but what would you say to any of the athletes who, maybe have only been doing it for 6 months to a year? Like what has kept you motivated and pushing it for that long, and how could maybe other people tap into that?
I just always have like, I don't know, little goals, just little mini goals that I just, kind of set and then just keep going. And then it's on to the next one, and I'll find something else, and then it's on to the next thing. Just stay with it. It just gets better. The longer you're doing it, the better it gets. I mean, it never gets easy. Every workout seems like it's the hardest workout because you're trying to beat what you did last time, and it seems like it's harder each time, just as hard as it was the first time, but it just gets, more fun. I don't know.
So speaking of that, I saw your most recent Murph time. You went sub 30 minutes with a vest. Now, how do you feel about having to beat that the next time?
Having to beat that's almost the first thing I thought of when I was done. Like, now it's going to be harder to beat that because I was just so intent on beating 30 minutes. Like I was so close coming around up the hill that I was like, oh my God, I'm like real close, and wound up beating it by 8 seconds. But now it's like okay, I don't know if I can go faster than that.
Yeah, that's my thought every time I finish Murph. If I PR, I'm like, it's not possible. I cannot go fast. Maybe someone else can, but I cannot move faster than I just did. But you always end up surprising yourself.
Especially that last mile, knowing how I felt, that it was bad.
Yeah.
The sun was down. It just was like, I just wanted the vest off.
Yeah, that's once I start having those thoughts, almost in any workout, I know that I've pushed myself appropriately. If I'm like, if it's a really hard run and I just want to be finished, or if the vest and I'm like, I just want to take the vest off. Once I start thinking that, I know that I've pushed myself adequately and it's time to it's time to almost be done. So let's get into some of the other parts of the favorite parts, if you will, for me at least, to find out about our athletes. So what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Oh man, the hardest workout. None of them really stick out, but every workout where you're trying to beat something that you've done for like 2 or 3 weeks straight is always just hard.
Murph practice.
Murph practice, even if it's just the 5 sets of 10 and you're trying to up the weight and you're trying to beat what you did last, it's still just hard. And every time it's like, I gotta do this again. I don't know. I know it's gonna be hard, but you just get in there and do it.
I love
and
that,
you
man.
wind up surprising yourself. Yeah.
I think that we have a lot in common in that regard, because I do like competing with other people to some degree, but there are always outside factors or different things going on. But competing with myself, to be honest, gets me the most fired up about my training, trying to beat what you did previously as opposed to someone else's benchmark or someone else's score. That's what really keeps me going. Can I even still do this? Can I go faster? So I really, I get motivated the same way. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's from my running background. You're just trying to, when you're running, you're really just running against your old pace. You're just always trying to beat your pace. You're never really worried about anybody else. It's just your pace. So it's kind of the same thing with strength training.
Yeah, because in running, you're not going to, barring some divine, intervention or something like that. If you're running a 2:40 marathon and, you're trying to beat first place and say they're running a 2:25 or something, you're not going to just run a 15 minute faster out of nowhere. You kind of know your pacing, what you can do. So you just got to run your race. That's awesome, dude. So
Exactly.
In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Best activity is just being consistent. I think consistency is just overlooked sometimes. And it's really just staying consistent, just doing it day after day after day, no matter what it is. Just even if you're doing just a little bit, you're still doing it. I think it's just really hard for some people to just keep that up. Yeah,
I think, to be honest, you may have quoted what my personal definition is of mental toughness. Consistency over a decade equals mental toughness, in my opinion, because the cold run you did in Murph, that's some mental toughness. Pushing yourself a little bit faster, PRing Murph the next time you do it, because I know you're going to, that takes some mental toughness. But doing something consistently for a decade, that's a true level of mental toughness that very few people possess. Now, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I'd have to go with just my body weight, just my body. You can just do so much anywhere, just my body.
Awesome, man. All right, let's see, Joe, you're up, man.
If you could add something to your garage gym, what would it? I know we just got a quick snapshot of your gym, but you just got your rower. But if you could add one more thing to it, what's next on your wish list?
Oh man, I would have to go. I kind of want a ski erg really bad. My rec center has one, and I use it every once in a while for the intervals, and that thing is awesome.
Yeah,
I like it because you're not sitting down, you're kind of standing up. You're not sitting down like the rower, but I like it.
I have the same dilemma, and I've kind of talked about this on a few other episodes, but I think in the next couple years, I'm just going to have almost every endurance machine, conditioning machine that you can have just stuffed in my garage gym. All the Concept 2 family with the bike, the ski erg, the rower, get a Airdyne, like I'm just going to have all this stuff in there, because they're all like fun and different stimulus, and it's ways to mix it up.
Yeah, change it up.
Because
My garage is getting tight though.
running is like, can have a huge impact. Did you notice any of that when you were running a lot, like knee pain, ankle pain, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I used to get a lot of knee pains in high school, but after that, no. I kind of had like a shin splint at the end of my training for 2 years. I think it was just all the mileage. I was up to 120 a week.
Wow.
And I think I overdid it. So I was also a vegan at that time. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I was a vegan for 10 years during that time that I was marathon training. And I just kind of think that had something to do with it. Not sure.
All right, we got to talk about that just for a second. Okay. All right. All right. So you were. How do you eat now? What would you classify your diet as today?
Just I kind of eat everything. I mean, I don't really exclude any macros or anything. It's just not low carb. I don't know, Mediterranean maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so what moved you off of vegan to eating meat again and embracing more of that?
To be honest, I just was kind of feeling kind of weak. Just felt like I wasn't like recovering. When I was a marathon trainer, I wasn't really into nutrition. I would just eat whatever. Like
right.
I was just starving. I was done, and I still wasn't gaining any weight. But yeah.
So it just came back to that. The whole reason kind of you switched from endurance training was you wanted to get stronger and build up more capacity in other areas, and then you kind of realized that the vegan diet might not support that for you.
Yeah, like I all switched when that injury happened, and then that's when I started with the strength training. I needed to do something else because I couldn't run, which was really hard, going from 2 days and stuff down to nothing. It was like stir crazy. So then I just started doing that, and then the strength training works were like really slow. I'm used to like long workouts, like 2 hours, and it was like I don't know if I'm going hard enough, and I don't know. I just started looking into everything and just changed it completely and realized I need to be more well-rounded. That's how I wound up here.
Well, let's talk about that for a second too before I get to the last question of the show, man. How have you enjoyed being a garage gym athlete in our programming?
I love the programming. I love that the programming just keeps building on the previous cycle. So it's not like a 12-week cycle and you're done. It's like, all right, well, now what? It's just building and you're building. So you're always doing something for a reason. You're not just doing it for, just to do it. There's a reason behind it, and I love that.
Awesome, dude. Well, you have a lot of experience. You're incredibly fit and been in the garage gym for a long time. So what would be the best advice you have for all the other garage gym athletes out there listening?
My best advice is to just keep at it. Just even if you stop for a little bit, just keep at it. Just keep doing it. You won't regret it.
Awesome. All right, Tony. Well, it's been a blast having you on the show, man. Thank you so much for joining us on the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast.
You're welcome.
There you go.